Yes, good morning, Judge Sue Offer, Leslie Basie, and Zach Woodchow appear on behalf of the state of Wisconsin.
Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value and return for value all of the charges instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments, and for the record, I do not consent to being called that name.
The record should reflect that the individual known to this court as Darrell Brooks is present in person in custody. He is in street clothes, wearing a suit and tie and a mask.
I don't consent to being called that name, Your Honor.
I understand,
For the record.
And I have advised you previously that I will continue to refer to you at times by that name, as I believe it's appropriate given the charging instruments in this case. And other evidence now that's been received during the course of this trial where I believe we are using the accurate name. With that, I
don't agree to that, Your Honor, or consent to that.
Your lack of consent is noted. So before we couple of things on the record, I know Mr. Brooks has filed some things, but before I get to that, as I told the parties on Monday, I had excused one of the jurors for a health reason, and it has come to my attention that I now have a second juror with the same health concern. Out of an abundance of caution, I am going to bring the jurors out to question them about their whether any of them have any concern about continuing to serve on this jury, given the health concern. I am referring to a COVID concern. I'm not going to ask any particular juror whether they've tested positive or not, or whether they've had an exposure. But I am going to ask them questions about their willingness to continue serving, whether it's interfering at all with their ability to pay attention. Out of an abundance of caution, we have brought in 2 air purifiers, although I am told that because of the new building and the HVAC that's in this building, and I received this from our facilities manager, the new HVAC system in the court's tower has a UV light system that disinfects the air at a higher air exchange rate than the purifiers, and that the system was specifically designed so that no special standalone systems are needed. But again, out of an abundance of caution, we've had 2 air purifiers put in this courtroom. I'm putting a third one in the jury room. We have also provided jurors, should they wish, with masks. We've increased the hand sanitizers and the disinfecting wipes. We've always had the hand sanitizers around. There's one on the jury box at the moment, and they've been in the jury room. I'd also like to put on the record that I did advise the jurors on Monday that one of the jurors was not going to be with us any longer due to a health concern. I asked them at that point if anyone had any concern. I did indicate at that point it was a possible exposure, and they all indicated no, they didn't have any concerns. But again, out of an abundance of caution, I feel it's important to now question them while they're in the jury box to ensure that there aren't any issues related to that. So with that, I am going to instruct the jurors to be brought out for that purpose. And then they'll be excused after that so we can continue the discussion regarding that, and then deal with, if need be, the other issues and filings that have been brought to my attention today.
Your Honor, will we be addressing subject matter jurisdiction?
No, not at this time.
Still has yet to be proven for the record. I don't know if the audio is on, but
All rise for the jury.
Could you have a microphone available, please, if need be? They're behind you. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, wait, if you could bring me that. Michael, I'm going to hand you this. We're not going to take testimony at the moment. This is preliminary. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I brought you out here. We are not taking testimony at the moment. I have made a record previously regarding COVID-related concerns with the jurors. I know you are all aware that one juror was excused due to a health concern. I also put on the record that on Monday when I advised the jurors of that, I asked you all if anyone had a concern regarding that, and that no one indicated they had a concern. I have been made aware of a second issue and potential exposure, and so I wanted to make a record in open court and to ask each one of you if any of you have any concerns about continuing your service in this case due to exposure to COVID. And so I'm just going to go through each one. Hopefully I can see all of your numbers from here. I'll just start from the back row and move from my left to right, front row, my left to right. And I also want to let you all know we have a very, very good HVAC system. I made a record of this while you were not here. But this is a new building. It has brand new technology. I've been told that the HVAC system in the courts tower, and this was told to me by our facilities manager, has a UV light system that disinfects the air at a higher air exchange rate than purifiers, but out of an abundance of caution, I've had 2 air purifiers also put in this courtroom, and I've had 1 put in the jury room. I believe you would be able to confirm for us as well that when you got into the jury room this morning, there were extra sanitation supplies along with masks. And so with that, I am just going to identify you by number. First of all, juror number 11. Do you have any concerns about continuing your service in this case, specifically related to COVID?
No concerns.
All right, thank you. Let me actually go back. Would the fact that you may have been exposed in any way interfere with your ability to pay attention and ultimately render a verdict in this case?
No.
All right, thank you. And then, let's see, I know our bar is really, juror number 48, if you could also answer those 2 questions.
No concerns, both ways.
All right, thank you. And then juror number 46.
No concerns.
Thank you. Juror number 34.
No to both.
Thank you. Juror number 27.
No, also to both.
Thank you. Juror number 30.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. Juror number 1.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. And then what's your number?
6.
6. Juror number 6.
No concerns for both.
Thank you. And then juror number 14. I'll just start there.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. Juror number 10.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. Juror number 51.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. Juror number 45.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. Juror number 19.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. Juror number 41.
No concerns to both.
Thank you. And juror number 3.
No concerns to both.
All right, is there anything I haven't asked of the jurors or any other concerns related to that you would want to bring to my attention? If so, just raise your hand. There are no hands raised. I can also tell you from our initial days of COVID when we started up jury trials, we do have plexiglass panels that I could put in between anyone who would want one. Is there anyone here who would want that? If so, raise your hand. No hands are raised. That's really all I have. I don't know if there's anything either of the parties would want me to ask the jurors from the state on this topic. All right, Mr. Brooks?
No.
All right, thank you. I'm going to excuse the jurors then, and then when we're ready, we'll have you brought back out. And thank you so much. Thank you. Be seated.
Judge, can we ask a question?
Go ahead.
We counted 15 jurors in the courtroom.
I excused one.
You excused one earlier in the week too, though.
No. I'm only talking about the one. The other one I didn't excuse.
I see.
And,
Okay.
and thank you, I'll make a record of that. I did not excuse given when that person reported their symptoms and where we're at today. So it would be,
So that person is here
yes,
and willing to continue serving?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And I will make a further record that none of the jurors are wearing masks. And I'm not going to mandate. I believe it's a personal choice. And that would also be consistent with, I believe, our county policies as well. So, unless there are anything related to that, I have a couple of other issues I need to address this morning.
I got something for that.
Go ahead.
The person that's, or the two people rather, that are having the COVID concerns. I know you said you wasn't going to ask them had they test positive or the results of any testing. Do you know if there has been exposure on their end to COVID exactly, or is that just a caution thing?
My understanding is that I've had 2 jurors test positive throughout the course of this trial.
And
I'd make a further record that they're the only ones within 6 feet of each other, right? They, and perhaps our civilian bailiffs, they've not been in, obviously, contact with anyone in the gallery. I don't know if maybe Attorney Opper might be within 6 feet. I don't think so, but I haven't measured it. Obviously, you're not within 6 feet of any of them. But that's a good question to ask, and I'm glad you asked that. And I wanted to make a record of that as well.
yeah, that would be my question to it. I guess in reference to me myself just having the same concern a few weeks ago. So that would be the reason why I would want to know exactly any details that could be provided.
I'm providing all the details that I will. Again, for the record, you have not been exposed, from my opinion, because of the distance that you are away from them, and my understanding based upon my review of county policy.
Yeah, I'm not saying me myself have been
Understood.
exposed.
Well, that's why I asked them, though, too, right? I wanted to make sure they had no concerns, or if they had a concern, to see if I could accommodate it in any way. I'm satisfied that if they don't have a concern, that we can continue forward.
Have they ever, the entirety of the jury though, have they been exposed in any way?
I don't know the specifics because of the 6 foot, right, rule, and no one has asked me to investigate that further.
Wouldn't it be smart though to see?
I don't believe that's necessary under the circumstances.
Well, if anything, just for future reference, like, what if it plays a part later on?
Well, I'll certainly take your concerns under advisement, and if I believe any further questioning needs to be done, I'll do that. At this point, I don't believe it needs to be done, but I'll think about that, and I'll take it under advisement, and if I change my mind, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because if anything, it probably would be smart for the long run to make sure no one else was compromised, considering that.
Let me make
Yeah.
a record there. No one has indicated they are compromised. I don't think we can make assumptions about how anyone who's been exposed or tested is feeling. You can be asymptomatic and test positive. You can have mild symptoms. I trust my jurors that they would report if they're not able to sit through the proceedings. And I will further advise them through the bailiffs that they are to report if they ever get to a point where they feel they're not able to sit through here, and so that we're advised and I can tell the parties.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, because it went from Monday, which at that time it wasn't known. Could have been flu, could have been just not feeling well, could have been anything, and then today is, then you kind of worry about tomorrow, Friday, over the weekend.
Mr. Brooks, I share all of those concerns, but my other concern is that we are in the third week of trial and that we should keep going until the conclusion of this matter, understanding what has happened.
All right, I just wanted to put that on the record because
I appreciate that.
it seemed like the circumstances were different when it was me. Just saying.
Are you making any specific requests given this information?
Well, I believe that the jury clearly all congregate together. I think it would be smart to make sure everybody is tested. I mean, that's it would be smart to do that.
I'm not going to mandate testing for the jurors. That much I can tell you. So that request is denied.
And the grounds for the denial?
I'm not going to mandate that the jurors be subjected to testing. They're the ones who indicated they are comfortable being here. They don't have concerns. And again, I would trust them to report to me if anything changes.
I would trust that too, but it still would refer back to Monday when the first knowledge of someone having an illness or potential illness was those same questions that were asked today, asked Monday.
I did not.
I'm quite sure.
I certainly questioned them much more. It was a very brief. I put what I said to them on the record earlier. It was certainly not what we did here today, and the record reflects that.
Right. I'm quite sure though that all the jurors Monday said they didn't have any concerns as well, and then now today, someone else, same thing being said. So
I understand what you're
if
saying.
it happens again, same thing being said.
But are you making any specific requests as it relates to this topic and this issue?
Well, you denied the request that
Any other requests?
I just feel like it's smart for them to be tested, so it doesn't come up again in the future, or potentially come up again in the future, because then we'll all be looking back and saying, well, we could have prevented something like this from happening if we had just nipped it in the bud from the get-go. It's just smart to, like you say, err on the side of caution.
I appreciate that. I'm going to continue. I understand what you're saying, but given the responses of the jurors today, I'm going to continue. I'm going to base this off of their desire to continue, at least what I would interpret as their desire to continue with their service on this case.